So you guys are asking me where the 7900 XT and the XTX reviews are. Unfortunately, today I won't have a review ready. AMD ran out of samples in Australia and they didn't know that I came back from Japan. And so they're actually organizing me a sample to get a review done for you guys. So that will be coming in the mail. However, there is a hot word on the street. I have been speaking to some retailers here and also one retailer over in the US. And there's some news that I'll share with you guys straight away. And that is mainly that if you want to get a 7900 XT or an XTX at MSRP prices, then you will have to be very quick. Because the reference models, what I'm being told is the reference models will be the only cards coming in at those $899 USD and also the $999 USD prices. After that, you're going to get your typical Gigabyte Eagles, your Asus TUFs, and also your Sapphires, for example, that will come above the MSRP on both these models. So that's a bit of buying advice, and I have heard through the grapevine as well that there's going to be, at least in Australia, relatively no stock of these reference cards. So pretty much they're going to sell out straight away for the reference models, both on the XT and the XTX, because there's just going to be not enough stock in Australia. If we move over to the US, apparently there's going to be a healthy supply over there. So I think everywhere else in the world is going to really not have many of these samples, but then the US will get a good launch for if you want to get the MSRP cards. However, that aside, once these runs of the initial cards run out, then it's pretty much left to the board partners to deliver that pricing, which from what I'm hearing, it's just not going to happen. Just like what we're seeing with the RTX 4080 and also the RTX 4090, we're seeing that these cards simply are not coming in a lot of the times at MSRP. But if we look at the RTX 4080 as well, that's starting to come down a little bit in price here in Australia, but it's still well above the 1200 USD. Even if we factor in 10% GST, for example, for 1320 US dollars, the cheapest card that I can find on the shelves here is around 1450 US dollars. So still needs to come down in ways, at least in Australia, for the pricing on the RTX 4080, for example. But I will state, if you want one of these graphics cards, then you will need to be quick, at least if you want it at the cheapest price it's going to be, at least for some time, until those stock levels come out and then it circulates in its regular cycle. These cards are going to unfortunately be a little bit above MSRP, or at least that's what I'm being told from people that I've spoke to in the industry. Now let's talk numbers with both these cards, and we're mainly focused on the 7900 XTX because that's AMD's flagship card, and I think it does represent, even after seeing the numbers, better value than that of the 7900 XT. However, when I saw the presentation that AMD was announcing, I was a little bit concerned because they were very vague with their 50 to 70% uplift in performance, and I just thought they didn't give enough information. So that sort of automatically made me think it would be around 30 to 40% with their numbers, and seeing the reviews, the majority of reviews, it looks like it's around 30 to 40% in uplift depending on the title. And that's still a good number to have over the previous generation product. It's just, I think a lot of people maybe wanted it to compete with the RTX 4090. But if that was the case, AMD I think would be charging around 1300 US at least for this product, if it indeed was an answer to the RTX 4090. But what you've got here is an answer to the RTX 4080, and it looks like it's competing very well with rasterization performance to that graphics card. Now in terms of NVIDIA, of course, they've got DLSS and the ray tracing advantages there. Though whether or not that's worth the extra money ultimately comes down to the tech enthusiasts themselves. Do they need that technology? And in fact, when I reviewed the RTX 4090, I thought that was just performance-wise too much, even for 4K 120Hz gaming on an OLED. I thought the RTX 4080, however, was pretty good, but it was overshadowed by the fact that it just had this massive cooler and it was stuck in this weird spot where it really didn't hit value-wise that hard. And this is where the 7900 XTX kind of does give a little bit more oomph in terms of that value. But of course, I can't wait to check this card out and give you guys more raw numbers and see what the verdict is, because I do like to take a full tour with the graphics card, play games on it for a couple of days as well, just see what the general experience is with that graphics card. Now, I do like the fact that it is a smaller cooler that could fit into a lot of mini RTX rigs, for example. I think the RTX 4080, I would have loved to have seen a smaller model on that. Now, in terms of some of the bugs I've been hearing about where things randomly crash, there's black screens and then there's error messages popping up, I would hope a lot of those bugs do get quickly ironed out, especially on a flagship product. But in terms of these GPUs and the pricing, what we're seeing now is, believe it or not, when it comes to pricing, the previous generation stuff, especially if you like buying used, there's some really good deals to be had right now. If you guys take a look at some of my parts hunts that I've been doing in the last couple of months, I've been getting extremely good deals on graphics cards. So don't look past an RX 6800 XT, for example, if it's going brand new for $500, or if it's on the used market for a really good price. Of course, if you want an NVIDIA card, there's RTX 3060 Ti's that are going locally here for around $250 US. These represent extremely good prices, and I just don't think you're going to see these prices stick around forever. Inflation's only going one way. The new numbers are coming out, and it looks like we're going through this continual phase of high inflation similar to that of the 1970s, because interest rates aren't high enough to combat this high inflation. If you want to beat 7 or 8% inflation, you don't beat it with interest rates that are a few percentage points lower than that. You have to get those interest rates above that inflation rate, so people then have an incentive to stop spending. And so what this means for the average person is that basically these price increases on these GPUs are just going to keep flowing through, and it's going to really decimate PC gaming at this pace, where we're seeing now a $1,000 XTX graphics card and a $1,200 RTX 4080 being hailed as the new norm. And that's in ways, people blaming NVIDIA, people are blaming AMD, but these are ultimately just companies that want to maintain those high profit margins, and in the end, they're going to try and get there even if the market doesn't like what they're doing. So they're just going to deliver these higher prices, test the market, and see how it responds. That's the worst they can do, and if the market responds badly, then they will drop the prices. But make no mistake about it, when high inflation does persist, companies like AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA are just simply going to pass the costs on to the end user. Though if you guys like the financial talk and you want to see more of it, then do let us know in the comments and I can make that happen and perhaps give you guys a dedicated video on where I think the market will be heading in the next year's time. Anyhow, with that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Just an impromptu video. I wanted to get something out for you because I know a lot of you guys would be wondering, where's the TechYes XTX benchmarks? And unfortunately, they won't be coming for, at least in my opinion, another week. So if you have any tests that you want to see, then do let us know in the comments section below, or if there's anything you want me to look at with that particular GPU, and I can certainly make that happen. Anyhow, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button for us, and also let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. As always, love reading those thoughts and opinions, just like this question of the day here, which comes from Ray Abbey Official, and they ask, Ryzen 7 5800X3D RX 7900 XTX bottleneck 1080p. I'm a streamer and I need more FPS on game. I will use a 1080p monitor to 40 Hz. So the XTX should have heaps of headroom for 1080p. In fact, I think it's going to be a bit overkill for 1080p, but thing is, AMD's encoder will do a great job, especially since they've got a new updated encoder on the XTX, and you can use that for streaming, and the 5800X3D will deliver some really good frame rates at 1080p. So I don't think there's going to be so much a bottleneck as opposed to just the games bottlenecking you, where if you can go with a higher end CPU, you can go with a 7950X, for example, if you want to, or 13900K, but you're really only going to be getting a little bit more, especially if you already got that 5800X3D. I think it's going to be absolutely fine for your use case scenario. In fact, I like the 5800X3D from AMD. It's my favorite gaming CPU from their front at the moment, and on Intel's, I like the 13600 7800K. Even if you're streaming, both these CPUs are going to be great. Hope that answers that question, and I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.